Hello, Lions fans. The games are now coming thick and fast. Players will be getting patched up. Training time will be at a minimum, but these Lions will be gelling more and more every single day. And the next game is Queensland Reds versus the British and Irish Lions. And in this video, I'm going to talk through all the team selections, do a quick review of where each team is at, show my absolute disgust about the Reds Wallabies non-selections, and give you my thoughts and predictions on how the game will unfold. Hello, amateurs. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be here with you throughout the Lions series and beyond. So hit subscribe down below to follow along. Okay, let's talk about these Queensland Reds. They were fifth in the Super Rugby table with 8 wins out of 14 games. Between these two teams against the Lions, there's actually been 13 fixtures, over a long history. But the Reds have only ever won one, and that was a long, long time ago. The last fixture in the previous tour was actually a reasonably close game. The Lions coming through 22-12. It was most remembered, this game, for a worldie of a try from Australian Luke Morahan. And interestingly, I once played for a whole season with his older brother, which is an aside, but we'll get onto the rugby now. A quick Lions update and sad news, very sad news for Thomas Williams. That hamstring pull tear, looks like it's a tear. It's been called a medium to long-term injury by Andy Farrell, means that his tour is over. And it seems like he was one of those characters, like a real binder of the tour, somebody that was popular with absolutely everybody. So he's going to be a big miss off the pitch, but even more so on the pitch where he was playing some of his best rugby. So my heart goes out to you, Thomas. Hopefully you're doing okay. But opportunity for somebody else, and that person is Ben White. And there was talk about Jack van Poortvliet being in the running for this slot, coming in because he was selected to go and train with the Lions in Portugal. But I think that was a misnomer. Like, Ben White wasn't available for that potential training selection because he was still with his club playing for Toulon in the top 14 semi-final. So I think Ben White was always ahead of Jack van Poortvliet, and I think it would have been a major surprise, in my opinion, if van Poortvliet had been picked ahead of him, especially with the logistics. I mean, I don't think that would have been a major factor in this decision so early in the tour, but Ben White is flown over now from Auckland and will be with the squad this week. However, talking of the squad and what I mentioned in the intro of there being potentially limited training, they've done almost no training ahead of this Reds game. Apparently the weather was so bad at the training base that they didn't want to risk it in terms of injuries, in terms of slipping and just potential muscle injuries. So apparently Jamison Gibson-Park has fizzed a few out to Finn Russell, sort of standing still, and they've, talked through what each of them wants. But that's about it. And let's not forget, these two are probably what most people would think, certainly pre-tour, odds on to be the test partnership. So that is not a lot of preparation for these two. However, it probably does say a little bit about their character. It says a little bit about the preparation that they would have done and how adaptable they are as players, which I think is a big factor in what goes to making them the players they are. So be interesting to see how connected they are against the Queensland Reds on Wednesday. Okay, let's get into the selections themselves. We will get the Lions forwards up here. And this is first starts, I think, for all of this front row. They've been waiting their time. They've been, snorting and waiting to get stuck into this tour, and they get it. Kelleher, obviously 2 appearances already from the bench, but these other guys, Porter and Stewart, will be itching. And talking about first starts, this is the 3rd game, and the second row does not have James Ryan in it. James Ryan now, I think, is the only one not to get a start in this Lions squad that's been there the whole time. And man, I feel for him. Like, I know in previous tours, it's been the policy that the coach has said that everybody will get a start in the first 3 games, and poor James Ryan hasn't. And I mean, what does that say? I mean, the original squad looked a little bit lock heavy. It looks maybe one too many lock and not enough back rowers. And I think that's bearing fruit now with some, hybrids, maybe we'll call them, like Ty Burn getting picked in the back row last game. But they are picked is English duo Itoje and Chesham in the second row. Curry and Morgan carrying on in the 6 and 7 jersey as they did against Argentina, with Jack Conan coming in at number 8. What does this mean? I mean, I think I said in the build-up to the last game that I expected the Lions to have a big body in the back row, somebody who's a genuine line-out forward, and Conan is that. I think this will be the model going forward. I still think there's a chance they might go with a big six as well and just one sort of recognised seven. Time will tell on that by the time we get to the test matches. Into the backs. And yeah, as I mentioned, everybody's, likely test half-back partnership. That's what we're thinking. But Gibson Park hasn't played for a while. He's been injured. He's going to have to come back in and find form quickly. As I mentioned in that earlier piece, I do think he's the type of character. I do think he's the type of person who can come back in and hit the ground running. I think he's got that in him. So let's see if that happens this weekend. In the centres, I mean, there's some places where Andy Farrell's gone with sort of country combinations, but in the centres, he absolutely has not done. So he's gone Tuipulotu and Ringrose last week, obviously Scottish and Irish, and he's gone Irish and Scottish this time. So we've got Aki and Jones. It would have been so easy for him to just pair the two players that have played together so much of their countries and just almost select the centre partnership as, their country pair. But he's decided not to do that, which is really interesting. It means that all these players have got genuine chances of test selection, I believe. And it's going to be so interesting to see which ones of these gel together and whether it eventually does end up just picking two Irish or two Scots in the centres. Time will tell. Time will tell for that. Good news in the back three with Hugo Keenan being declared fit and starting. This will be his first ever Lions game. So congratulations to him, with Van der Merwe and Tommy Freeman carrying on the wings from the Argentina game. On to the bench. And we have got Cowan-Dickie, Genge, Bealham. Apparently Genge and Bealham are new best buddies, pretty much joined at the hip in camp. So they might be almost selected as a pair as well going forward. We shall see. I expect Ellis Genge and particularly James Ryan to bring a huge amount of energy off the bench in this game. Genge does it just because that's what Genge does. But if James Ryan isn't fizzing with like anger and resentment, I'll be very surprised. He will have a point to prove and he'll want to make it in this game for sure. Ben Earl then, a quiet game against Argentina by his standards. He will also want to put his mark down on this tour and come out fizzing as well. Mitchell and Smith, the Northampton combination, and Gary Ringrose to complete the bench. Now, all of this, all the combinations, all the different things, I honestly think that Andy Farrell is genuinely keeping an open mind. I mean, he'll say that in the press because he wants to make sure all the players stay engaged, make sure that they feel that they've got a genuine test start. I genuinely believe that he is doing that. I really think he's keeping his mind open. He might have a handful, a small 2 or 3 maybe, that he's already decided he's going to sort of build his team around. But I think there are a lot of test shirts up for grabs in this Lions squad, and I think that is a wonderfully positive place to be. On to the Queensland team. Now then, the positives. We have 9 Wallabies in this squad. We have 2 All Blacks, including one that they've literally just signed from the Chiefs. The Chiefs who played in the Super Rugby final just last week or the week before maybe. They've signed Aidan Ross, and he's playing in this game straight away. What a way to get a cap against the Wallabies. There are 2 Wallabies from the current Wallabies squad in Matty Fessler at hooker and Hunter Paisami at 12. But, and this is where the integrity of these games falls to pieces in my mind, is that 6 of the current Wallabies squad are absent from this squad. We've got Tate McDermott, Harry Wilson, the Wallabies captain, Fraser McWright, one of the Wallabies' best players for the last 2, 3, 4 years probably, Tom Liner, Felipe Dalgonu, and Zane Nongor, who is a prop. And yeah, I kind of said fair play to the Force for picking a lot of their Australian Wallabies in their squad. The same can't be said here. I think it discredits the tour. I think it makes it harder to really sort of buy in and be engaged with this game. And I don't like it. I understand why. I understand why you would do that if you're the Wallabies management, but it's a bad one for me. I don't like the look of it. Some British and Irish interest, certainly though, within this squad, where we've got Jeff Tuamaga-Allen, who spent a bit of time at Wasps at tight head, and Les Kiss, well known especially to the Irish, having spent a period of time as Ireland assistant coach, coached Ulster and London Irish as well. He's the head man there, and he'll be looking to bring it. I think that's what the phrase he used in the press conference, to put their best foot forward and give it a rip in this game. So, you know, regardless of the players that are left out, I've no doubt this Queensland team are going to come in and absolutely hammer it and give it their best shot and try and bruise a few lions and see if they can't get a win along the way. Okay, overall, how do we see this game going? So first things first, I am interested in whether we're going to see any refereeing continuity from the first game. I did a whole video about it. I'll link it up there, because no jackal turnovers, no jackal penalties, in that first game is a rare beast. Will we see the same in this game? Will the attacking players get the benefit of the doubt from the referee? Will jackalers be almost powerless in this game, in this series? That's the first thing that I'm going to be looking for, because that can then play forward, as I say in that video, to lots of other things in terms of selection and how the game might be played, all kinds of different things. It's going to be a big factor, that. So look out for that one. Who do I think will win? Well, I think the Lions will win. I think they should win comfortably, although, as I've said, the Reds are missing a lot of players, but there's still a lot of quality there. And obviously, huge passion and pride and all those things that will go into playing for their province against the Lions, and the potential, just the potential, the slight chance that they might have of getting a win, and what that will do for not only now, but like for the rest of their lives. That's the size of this kind of victory. You get a win against the Lions as the Queensland Reds, that is history making. Like, you'll dine out on that forever. So that is a huge thing for them to go for, and I'm sure they will. But I think the Lions will win, and I think they'll probably win fairly comfortably in the end. Who do I think will play well? Well, I think somebody who has to play well, maybe counterintuitively because he's captain, but I think Itoje's been a little bit quiet, and I wonder whether he was left out of that previous 23 completely, because just of all the energy it takes up to be captain, to have that leadership, the press, and then playing as well. I wonder if Andy Farrell looked at it and just went, let's just give him a little bit of time off here. Let's give him a little bit of time to get his energy and then come through and lead the rest of the tour. But I think I want to see Itoje lead him from the front, playing the way we all know he can. He's an outstanding player. So that's what I'm looking for from this Lions team. All right, that's what I think. But what do you think? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Are you as disgusted as I am with all these Wallabies being left out of the provincial games? Let's hear it in the comments. Any players, who do you think really needs to put their hands up from a Lions perspective in this game? Who absolutely needs a performance in this game to give themselves a chance of test selection? Put your number one down in the comments below as well. Give the video a thumbs up while you're down there. If you don't mind, it helps other people find it. And you can subscribe there. You can watch that one next. And do not forget to get out and play. Look how bright that is. Mwah.